What's up, Pokemon lovers? Simon here. Welcome to HannaTalk, and today I'm here with my final guest star for 2016, an actress who is best known in the world of Pokemon as the voice of Jessie, Nurse Joy, May, and all kinds of amazing characters across the series, but is also known in other anime shows like Queen's Blade as Tomo and Ari, Ikitosen, as well as Karina in the new One Piece movie, One Piece Gold, which is opening on January the 10th next year. Please welcome the amazing and wonderful Michele Knotz.
Hello! Wow, that was an awesome intro. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. And how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's definitely a hot day down here in Australia. I can't imagine the weather is like in up in the US.
Oh, where I am, it's cold. So I'm jealous of you.
I'm actually jealous of the people in the US. I actually prefer it's much colder down here. Just a little.
Oh, okay. Some people are winter people, some people are summer, but I'm a more summer person. I like the beach and stuff. So winter is tough for me, but I get through it.
That's fantastic. Now on to the first question. What got you interested in voice acting?
Well, I started out as a theater major in college, but then I kind of changed schools and switched majors into radio and television broadcasting. So it's funny, my background actually comes from news. I worked at MSNBC for a little bit. That's a big news station here in the States, America. But I didn't really like it. I didn't really like working in news, and I wanted to do something more fun and exciting, and I've always loved animation, and in college I became a big anime fan, and I love anime. It's funny, when I was a kid, I used to watch anime a lot, but I didn't realize it was anime. You know, I love like Speed Racer and Voltron and things like that, but I didn't even know it was from Japan because I was a kid, you know, and you're thinking, oh yay, big robots fighting and stuff, but I didn't know that it was actually made in another country because I was a kid. What did I know, you know? So, and when I was a kid, there was no like internet or anything like that, so I couldn't even really like look it up anywhere. So, yeah, so I was actually an anime fan when I was a kid, but I didn't realize it. And so when I was in college, I started to learn more about it, and I, you know, watched things like Cowboy Bebop and Poltergeist Report, which is now Yu Yu Hakusho, and like tons, Inuyasha, and you know.
That's fantastic.
Oh, are you still there? Did I lose you?
Oh yeah, we're still here.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're still there. Sorry, I thought I lost you for a second. Yeah, so I wanted to do, you know, something more fun and exciting. That was kind of my transition into voiceover. So I got a voice coach, and I worked with her. She was awesome. And I started to do auditions. I made a voice demo, and I started mailing it out all over the place. And that's how it all kind of happened.
That's absolutely fantastic. And as mentioned before, like you being, as you said, you being like such a huge anime fan, like with stepping into like any sort of project that you've ever worked on that's anime related, do you have like a sense of like what that project is kind of all about when you first step into it, or is it like walking up to a Jack in the Box, like having no idea what to expect when you when you roll the handle or you push the button or something?
Yeah. It depends if it's something that I already know about. Like, it was funny when I got the role for Karina in the One Piece movie, Film Gold. I already knew kind of what One Piece was about. I saw some episodes, you know, when it was on, like, I think it was on Adult Swim or something. But I watched some, you know, One Piece episodes, and I kind of knew what the story was already about. So I knew about the devil fruit and things like that, you know. But if you do an audition for a series that you've never heard of before, because a lot of animes sometimes just like 12 or 26 or 24 episodes, and they're really short, and they don't go on for like hundreds and hundreds of episodes. So if you're doing an audition for an anime that you've never heard of, or you don't really know about, or it hasn't had a long running for a while, then, you know, it's kind of like you go in and you just try and do like the best audition that you can. Usually you're given like usually a picture of the character and a description of the character, and then they call them sides. They give you the sides, which is the audition piece that you're going to read. So you just, obviously, they'll tell you the age and thing, is older, younger, middle-aged, and, what their personality is like. So you just, go into the audition and do, like the best that you can. So, and then just walk away from it, because, sometimes you won't get the role anyway. So you just gotta do your best and walk away, and then go to your next audition.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, if you get the part, cool, awesome. And then if you don't get it, that's okay. You just gotta keep trying and move on to the next audition.
That's the way to go. It's almost like you're stepping into like a game show or of some sort. Like, would you go for door number 1 or would you go for door number 2? In
I know, right?
That kind of almost brought me back to this interview that I heard that Joe Manganiello, who to many people who don't know, is playing Deathstroke in the DC Cinematic Universe, starting in the new Batman movie, where he talked about.
Cool.
Yeah, where he spoke about his preparation for Deathstroke, how he picked up him being such a huge comic book fan, he picked up every sort of merchandise related to Deathstroke to prepare for the role, and how he spoke about as a kid, he was a huge comic book nerd and still is. He stole comics from a comic book store when he was a child, and then when he and
Oh man.
yeah, and when he went back to that same. And when he was started to become a really well-known actor, he went back to the same exact comic book store and returned back those comics to the very same store owner. So it proves proves he is such a bit of a nerd like us all, really. So, which is cool.
Yeah, a lot of actors do that, just try and get into the role. Look up whatever you can, whether it's movies, comic books, television shows. Things like that, so yeah.
And as an actress yourself, working in so many projects yourself, with working on any sort of projects that you have in the past or you do now, how do you usually try to get into the character that you're playing or get inside the mind of that character that you're playing? How do you prepare for the role you're doing?
That's usually helped out a lot by the director. Like we said before, if there's anything that you can look up in the past on that character, that that helps out too. Whether it's if you're specifically speaking about anime, whether it's like the manga, you can read the mangas. I know a lot of the directors and actors at Funimation do that. In Texas, they read the manga first and see what's going on in the story and try and get a sense of what's going on. But sometimes the anime usually changes it a little bit, and sometimes they don't follow the manga strictly. So so that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So it's a sense of not thinking how you would think, but how the character would think in a certain situation, whether it's a fighting situation or it's an emotional or romantic situation. Not well, what would Michele Knotz do, but what would, Susie Smith do? So, yeah, it's getting out of who you are and becoming,
Right.
And that's where the whole acting comes into play, because they say the most important thing in voice acting is acting. So, so at least I have somewhat of a theater background to throw into that.
But I'm sure that having that theater experience has helped you a lot in terms of your voice acting.
Yeah.
And with and as you were just talking about before, with getting into a certain character or in the mindset of a certain character, with any sort of character, continuing on to that question, have you ever been on played on certain experiences in your life to play a certain character that has been through similar experiences?
Yeah, that's a good thing too, is to try and, if you've been through a really bad breakup and you have to, act that out in a certain scene, that helps too. It's like one of your pets died and you know, the character's pet dies and as they're really close to them. Yeah, that really helps too, is to like bring your own experiences into the scene and the situation and see, you know, how well that can help, or sometimes it could hurt you, but how well that could like help your situation and to try and, you know, fulfill the scene to, you know, the utmost, you know, dramatic event.
That's fantastic. Now, and what was like your first voice acting role?
My first voice acting role was Hajime Yagi in The World of Naruwe. She's, you can see her on my website. She's got like glasses and purple hairs, like high school kids. She was really cool. She was like really like a sci-fi nerd, and she loved aliens and science fiction and stuff. And it's funny because like another girl that starts to go to her school that she kind of befriends is actually an alien, but she doesn't believe that she's an alien. So it's really funny. It's a cute series. It's only like 13 episodes. It's really short. Central Park Media produced it when they were around. Unfortunately, they're not around anymore. But yeah, Central Park Media produced it. It was really fun. Recorded that in New York. I live in New Jersey, but I work in New York. We have like, you know, all the states here. So it's actually cheaper to live in New Jersey. So I live in New Jersey and I just commute to New York because we have a pretty good like bus and train system here between New York and New Jersey. So it's easy to get to there. It only takes like, you know, 40 minutes or so. So it's not bad.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I went up on a tangent there. Sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's awesome. And what was it like playing in the series you were just talking about, The World of Naru, and playing that character?
She was a lot of fun. She was really cool because she's a big nerd. Yeah, I liked her because she reminded me a little bit of myself when I was younger and a kid in high school, because I used to watch Star Trek all the time. I was a big Star Trek and Star Wars fan. I still am. But I used to watch the old, like, Captain Kirk, William Shatner, Star Trek. So that was really fun, because she was big into science fiction. So she was really cool. And she's funny because she got to do a lot of screaming, and she was like angry all the time because it was like, Naru is not an alien. And she has this best friend Maruo, and he lived like right next door to her, and she'd always kind of like beat up on him and stuff, and because she'd be like, shut up. So she was really fun to play because she was very energetic and crazy.
That's fantastic. And as you were mentioning about, of course, with Star Trek and Star Wars, that actually leads into my next question, which I have not just for you, Michelle, but for everybody out there listening, is that what kind of live-action film series or TV series do you want to see turned into an anime or an animated series?
Oh, wow. Well, they kind of did that with Star Wars already, with the Clone Wars, which is really cool. I do like the Clone Wars. I haven't seen all of it. It's so hard with scheduling to try and watch things. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Hulu. I'll have to try and like binge watch it one day or something, or get the DVDs or something like that. I do love the Clone Wars. Is really, really cool. I like that Star Wars did that. But yeah, I don't think they ever made an animated Star Trek. That would be interesting.
Oh yeah, that
would be really cool.
that would be fantastic. I definitely would really like to see, like, I think like an anime version or an animated version of like Doctor Who, in fact.
Yeah, I love Doctor Who.
And I have a bit of a slight confession to everybody out there listening. This year is my very first year of watching Doctor Who. So please don't judge me.
Really?
Yes, I've not seen it beforehand until this year, so...
Wait, did you start from the beginning, or like now?
I started actually from the Christopher Eccleston series. I'm still on the David Tennant years, and I went back and watched the classic series, so I've gone back and forth between that. And I've not stopped watching it since. It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'd definitely like to see like an animated version of that because I know they did like an animated film on an unreleased episode of the Doctor Who series from the classic era, from I think it was the Second Doctor, which they released out just this year actually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
but
Cool.
so they're not too far off. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh, that's awesome.
but yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, everyone as everyone probably knows you really well. You're obviously very well known to a lot of fans in the world of Pokemon. How did you end up getting into the world of Pokemon, and what's it like stepping into that world?
Well, geez, what year was this? 2006? I'm trying to think. Because I actually started during season 9 of Pokemon. I haven't been in it since the beginning. It started in like 1995, 1996, but like I was still in like high school. I was still in like high school when it came out, so I knew of the show and I watched some of it. I thought it was really cool, and I was like, oh, cool. Oh, the games are cool, and they got card games and video games, and yeah, I thought it was really neat. And then I found out it was from Japan, and I was like, oh, that's cool too. And like I don't know like the whole story of why. I'm sure it was like a money issue or something like that. I don't know. So, but like Pokemon was taken away from 4Kids and given to Taj Productions here. It's a different studio, and they had auditions for the cast for sound-alikes, which you can find in like anything really. Like I mentioned the Clone Wars before, who plays like they didn't get Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's actually James Arnold Taylor that plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. Excuse me. And so this is kind of like they were doing the same thing. They were looking for sound-alikes for the show. So obviously I auditioned for like all the ladies. I didn't really want to audition for Ash. Like at the time I wasn't really secure enough in my boy voices yet to try for Ash, and that was like really big shoes to fill. I wasn't sure if I could fill those kind of shoes for Ash. She's the main character. So they thought I sounded, really close to Rachel. So Rachel Ellis, she was the original Jessie, and so I took over as the voice of Jessie, and then the voice of May for season 9. So because after season 9, then Dawn came in. Dawn was the next character after May. So then Emily Janice Bauer, whatever her name is, she played Dawn. So now now we just recorded for Sun and Moon, so I've been voicing the series for over 11 years, but I did start at season 9, so it was a lot of, it was a lot of shoes to fill. I tried just to work as hard as I can. I watched all the episodes. I went out to the Best Buy and just like bought all the DVDs and just tried to match, whoever I could. So, yeah. And now it's been like over 11 years already. It's been a long time.
Yes, it definitely has been. And this year, in fact, like, I mean, you obviously talked about like you started in 2016, but this year, and it started back in like 1996. This year is its 20th anniversary, which is huge. In fact, because I interviewed Tara Sands, who played Richie and Bulbasaur in the original, and like a whole range of other Pokemon in the original series before, and she had mentioned that this year is its 20th anniversary, and they did a trailer for the Super Bowl to celebrate its 20th anniversary.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, that was really cool.
and that's also my next question for not just you, Michelle, but for listeners as well. How much do you want to see a live action Pokemon movie or TV series?
Well, I think is it China doing one? I think I saw an ad somewhere. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. I think I saw an article that China wanted to do a live action Pokemon. I'm not sure if that, is still going on or if it fell through. I'm not, yeah, I don't know about that. I thought they were going to do it. I have to look it up again because I think they were trying to do that. But I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think I remember seeing about that somewhere. Well, they have announced like a lot of live action series based on animes before in the past. Like I know they're doing Ghost in the Shell for next year
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
With Scarlett Johansson and Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones as Bato and such. And of course they're doing live action Death Note and Rurouni Kenshin and such. So they're getting quite a lot of series out. But fingers crossed, especially to any anime fans out there, they absolutely nail it. Because there's nothing
Right,
worse because there's nothing worse than a terrible anime film or live action series. There's nothing worse than that.
yeah. I'm a huge fan of Scarlett Johansson, so I think she's gonna, do a really good job with it.
Yeah, I
I really
definitely.
like. I just saw the movie Lucy that she was in, and I thought she was amazing. I don't think it got like really great reviews, and a lot of people didn't see it. But I thought she was great in it. I think she's great in anything she does.
Yeah,
So I think she's going to do a really good job.
yeah, I definitely think so as well. She's going to be absolutely amazing in that. So, but fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And going back,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, going back onto Pokemon, like as you were talking about before, when 4Kids had lost the rights to the series when it started going into season 9, were you aware of what was going on during that time?
I had no idea. I had no clue. It was so funny because I actually lucked into the audition, which was really weird because I was just at the time just still starting getting it. I mean, I just started doing voiceovers like around 2003, 2004, and I think this was around 2005, 2006. So I was like mailing my demo like in CD form. Now it's just like you send MP3s, just like send an MP3 to people because it used to be cassette tapes and then it was CDs, but now it's just MP3s. So so I was taking my CD and just like mailing it out to every studio that I could find. So, to try and get auditions. And Taj just happened to contact me and say, "Oh, we're having auditions for Pokemon." And I was like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" To record this over 4K. So like they didn't go into detail, and I didn't want to ask because it's none of my business, what like the situation is. So I don't really know what happened, but I was just like, okay. So then immediately I ran out and like found DVDs and bought them and tried to match them and stuff and listen to them over and over and over again, until I went in for the audition and auditioned for them. So yeah. I don't know. Companies always have these crazy deals going on and stuff, and I try to stay out of it. I just want to be the talent. I don't want to know about the paperwork.
I can just picture that right now, like going, "Hey, I just want to be the one hey, I'm just the one making the money over here. I just want to do voiceovers and such. I don't want to know about any of the business side of things."
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I know
the
what you
easiest way
mean.
to go.
I know what you mean by that. And did you ever get the chance to meet like any of the voice actors from the 4Kids version, like Veronica Taylor, Rachel, who originally played Misty and Jessie, or Eric Stewart, any of the voice actors from 4Kids?
I did meet them because they're actually in the world of Norway. Well, I don't think Eric is. Rachel and yeah, I don't think Eric was in that. No. But they were in the world of Norway, so that's where I started to meet everybody. So yeah, I did meet them before. So they're very nice people.
They certainly are, and amazing voice actors as well. And did you feel like a certain sense of pressure, like having to take up play such two big characters after Rachel in particular, Jessie and Misty, and all these other characters after the 4Kids actors?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody does, when you're voice matching roles like that, because it happened to Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and One Piece. So, it always happens, and you just kind of gotta roll with the punches and just do the best you can.
That's definitely the way to go. And of course, and I know that to many Pokemon fans out there, they'd be extremely critical about about like a lot of the voices that occur in the world of Pokemon now because of that transition from the 4Kids version to the version that we have now. How have you responded to such criticism like that?
How I didn't know we were going to go in this direction. Like, you know, like I said, we just try to do the best we can with what we have, and you know, we follow our director, so they know what's best, and they know how the scene and the story goes and the situations. So yeah, we just you know, we do the best that we can with what we have. So, and we try to make the fans happy.
That's definitely the way to go. And of course, myself being such a huge Pokemon fan, because Pokemon is the very first anime that I ever got into, and that got me my introduction to anime itself. And I have to say that, I mean, obviously the 4Kids version still has a very special place in my heart, but I love both versions for entirely different reasons. And each version is, and I say the same about any sort of anime, whether it's One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon. I love both versions for very different reasons, and they're all amazing, and they're all in their own unique way.
Cool, very cool, very cool.
In fact, the interesting story about my first Pokemon experience, I remember that I picked up my first, being a kid from the 90s, when where it used to be videotapes and before DVDs came out, where my first videotape of an anime was Pokemon itself, and I bought the tape, and it was the color yellow like Pikachu, which is
Nice.
pretty great, which is pretty cool and such. So that's pretty cool there. And as a Pokemon fan yourself, like having had slight experience in Pokemon, what was like your favorite Pokemon character to voice?
My favorite is probably Piplup. I like Piplup because he's really cute. It's weird because I like water type Pokemons because I'm a water sign. I'm a Scorpio. I was born in October. At the end of October, which is still like the Scorpio sign. It's like on the Scorpio Libra cusp. So, which is interesting that I like water type Pokemon. So, yeah, I would say Piplup is my favorite. Piplup was the first that I didn't have to match what was originally done. Piplup was an original for me, so he holds a special place in my heart.
That's awesome. And what's like one Pokemon that you wish that you could have like in real life or something?
All of them. I don't know. Like, that would be cool. It'd be like Pokemon were like pets in real life. That would be really cool. That would be crazy.
That would be fantastic.
I don't know. Probably Piplup. Yeah, I'd like to have a little Piplup. It would be like owning, not owning, you know, like having as a friend or something. Like your own little penguin. So, because, you know, Piplup's like a penguin. So I thought that would be really cool to have like your own penguin.
That would be awesome. And of course, this year, everyone knows about Pokemon Go, having been just released this year. Have you been into Pokemon Go that much?
I love Pokemon Go. I'm at level, what level am I? I'm at level 23. I'm Team Valor. Go Team Valor! And what's my strongest right now? I think my Rhydon is strongest at like 2289 or something like that. He's pretty high. He's pretty cool. Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. I know some people are like, and you shouldn't drive while playing it. I don't know why people would drive playing it. I don't do that because I'll get in an accident.
I definitely know a lot of the voice actors, especially the original ones as well, are definitely into Pokemon Go itself. And another question I've got for this here is, have you been playing like Pokemon Go, and you've had like any fans walk up to you and said, "Oh, you were the voice of that character there. That's cool. You're playing Pokemon Go. That's awesome."
No, what's so funny is that the only place that people really recognize me is conventions that I go to. It's fun. Like when I go to the store, the mall, the supermarket, or anything, like nobody knows who I am, which is so funny because like we're in a booth and we're not like on TV, like our faces are not on TV, so they don't really know who we are or what we look like unless they're, you know, my friends on Facebook, and you know they see pictures of me, they know what I look like, and if they see me out in real life, you know, then they would see that. But But it's funny, just like walking around my neighborhood and stuff like that. Like they wouldn't even know. so it's funny. So me and my boyfriend go out. We're both Team Valor, which is great. So we could go to gyms and like take them on together, like take the gyms. Yeah, Team Valor. Which is funny because like the Pokemon cast now, like Sarah, Nata, Jenny, and everybody, they're Team Mystic. So I was like, oh no, but it's like, but I'm with like I live with my boyfriend and we're together more. So and he chose Team Valor. So at the time, because he started before I did. So I was like, well, I have to choose Valor because I'm with him more. That makes more sense. So they're like, oh no. So it's funny because the cast is all Team Mystic, but I'm Team Valor, so I'm like the different one. I'm like, well, that makes sense. Since, Jesse's one of the bad guys anyway. So of course he's going to be different. So you all be Team Mystic, that's fine.
Somehow that would turn into like a Pokemon version of Captain America's Civil War or something.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, man. That movie was crazy.
I could just picture that right now. That's cool. And with excuse me, and as you were mentioning about before, with talking about with like your experiences mostly like having not really done boy voices that much. Have you ever done like ever roles that ever pushed you out of your comfort zone?
Trying to think. I don't think so, really. Voices that are like really, really super high can get difficult because I don't know. I kind of have like a low mid kind of range in my voice. So, but I've played the one character Koyuki Asagiri in Kujibiki Unbalanced. She was really, really super high because she was super petite and cute and tiny and adorable, and she had this really, really super high voice. And I remember recording it, leaving some of the sessions sometimes with like a huge headache. Because it was just so, like, you have to concentrate so much and do this super high voice. So, yeah, like those, not so much like a comfort zone, but more like a physical comfort zone. I think because you're trying to push yourself so much. I guess if you do a lot of screaming, I know like specifically with like some of the Pokemon, like I voiced Dustox and Cacnea, they could be very grating on your throat. So usually with the Pokemon, in Pokemon, we'll do the human characters first, and we'll leave the Pokemon creatures, we call them the creatures, the Pokemon creatures to the end, so you don't end up blowing out your voice. I mean, you obviously have to do voiceover the right way, breathe from your diaphragm and whatnot, so so you're not, hurting yourself, because you don't want to do voiceover like the wrong way. So, yeah, so if you're doing it the right way, but obviously, if you're doing screaming and everything for hours and hours and hours, which is part of why the union and the voice actors were going on strike, so they could get better hours, because when you're working on something like Call of Duty and you're screaming and screaming and screaming for hours and hours, you're gonna blow out your throat. I've read stories where, people started bleeding from their throat or throwing up in the booth, because of things like this. And I think it's better especially for things like Call of Duty, to spread it out during the week. Like, instead of having an 8-hour session, spread it out, like 2 Monday, 2 Wednesday, 2 Friday, like 2 hours. I understand there's deadlines and people have to get these things done, but like, you don't want to destroy somebody's life or somebody's voice, if they have to constantly scream all the time. So, yeah, there's another segue into that story.
But yeah, I definitely agree on that sort of sense as well. I can definitely imagine. And have there ever been moments in the studio where you felt like you pushed your voice like just that little bit too far, or you've hurt yourself voice acting?
I'm trying to think if I don't think so. I have left some sessions, like, not even with Elisa. Elisa Boskanovich in Street Fighter Cross Tekken had a lot of fighting reacts, but I don't think it was so, plus I was there for over like 3 or 4 days working on it, so it wasn't too bad. I don't think so that I've ever left a lesson of like, oh my god, I can't speak anymore. Just maybe like a little bit, like that's why they always say, like, it's good to do vocal rest. So, and that's like not speaking at all, which is great that we live in an age where we can just text people instead of calling them. So if you have to be put on any kind of vocal rest and you can't speak, then at least you can still like text the person. So I'll just like, it's like if I can't talk to my boyfriend, you know, I'll just text him and be like, I know I'm sitting right next to you and stuff, but I can't speak for like 2 days. Like just bear with me, okay?
yeah. Just text like nothing but emojis the whole way through. That speaks of like I can't talk. Sorry. I can definitely imagine that. That's crazy. But moving across onto like other anime shows you've worked on, like you're also known in the series Queen's Blade as Tomo and Ari. What was it like playing those characters and working on that series?
They were really cool. Yeah, I like Tomoe because she's like the serious warrior priestess, but then her friend Shizuka kind of brings out the more fun side in her because Shizuka's very, you know, not serious and playful and fun. So I like the dynamic that they have between each other. I like their characters together because Tomoe is she's very serious and I'm a warrior priestess and, you know, I need to fight in the Queen's Blade and blah, blah, blah. But Shizuka's like, yeah, whatever, let's go get some donuts, you know, things like that. So I really like, Georgette Riley played Shizuka and she was awesome. Every time I listened to her, you know, she was just so much fun and she was great to play off of, which, it was really hard during the scene when Shizuka died, because I couldn't go on to the next scene because my nose was so stuffy because I was actually crying. I was really crying in the booth, and we couldn't move on right away because I sounded like that. My nose is all stuffy because when you cry, obviously your nose gets stuffed up. So so yeah, we had to stop. It was really hard because I was really crying, and I was like, I can't, and I didn't know what was going to go on in the next episode, so that she was going to die. So I was like, wait, what do you mean? Because it was during the whole, you know, seasons, I got to play off of her, and Georgette was awesome. She was amazing playing that role. She was so much fun. And I was like, wait, what do you mean she dies? What? So that was really hard. And Irie she's a little weird. She's kind of cute and fun, and like she has to eat. She's interesting because it's like she has to eat souls in order to live, but she runs into this boy who she kind of ends up taking care of, and he's like, you know, you can't eat human souls. You can't do that to people. No, but she'll die like if she doesn't eat souls. So that was kind of interesting, you know, going to the back and forth because like Irie's supposed to be with Melina and I can't remember the other girl's name off the top of my head, but Irie is actually one of the bad characters. She's one of the bad girls. But it's funny that I got to play, because the other bad girls are definitely bad. They don't really have any necessarily like good moments, but Irie does. So that was kind of interesting because it's like, oh well, she's not all bad, because like the little boy that she ran into kind of like gets to her heart, you know, and she's like, well, you know, it's like I'll just eat souls of bad people who are bad, you know, they shouldn't live anyway. You know. She's like, I won't eat souls of good people. How about that? You know.
Yeah, I can just picture like that kind of character in like a restaurant somewhere, just ordering off a menu, going like, yeah, do you have the bad menu by any chance?
The bad people, you know.
Yeah. And just as you were talking about with your character Tomoe, and with like the dynamic that your character has with Georgette Riley.
Shizuka?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, Georgette. Shizuka. Sorry, Shizuka is the Japanese name, and Georgette was the actress.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. Okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Just like when you were describing about the dynamic, it just kind of made me think like, you know, wow, kind of like an anime version of Laurel and Hardy with a supernatural twist to it in some way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But Another anime series that you've also been best known for is Iki. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this to any fans out there. Is Iki Tosen?
Tosen, yeah, no, Iki
There,
Tosen, yeah, that's it.
there you
Yeah,
go.
very good, very good.
And what was it like? What was it like playing that series?
It was really cool. Chon, she didn't have like a super major part in it. She kind of showed up like here and there, you know. So she was kind of like, "Hi, I'm here," you know. Now I'm gone. So she wasn't with like the actual main cast. So, but I really liked her character because it was something different for me to play because she was so stoic and serious and, you know, very powerful, very good with a sword. You know, she wasn't any kind of comic relief. She was so that was a lot of fun to like step out of my element a little bit. Because with Tomoe, like she was serious, but you know she still had her fun side that Shizuka brought out. But with Chon, she was just serious all the time. You know, she was there was like really no like joking around with her. So that was really fun to play. Really tested my skills a little bit more because it was like really out of my element. Because if anybody knows me, like I like personally, I like to be like fun and you know I'm never really serious too much. I like to have go out and have fun with people and laugh and tell jokes. But yeah, so she was really cool to play like something out of my element. So yeah, I like her. Lots of fighting stuff, which is fun.
That's fantastic. And with playing that sort of character, have you ever had like any experiences like similar to what that character's been through as a way to play the character?
Well, I mean, it's tough because like I've had like older family members die and things like that, but I've never had like like, oh my God, my best friend was just in a car accident and died or something like that. Like, I've never been through that big of a traumatic experience to play that. So you really have to, put yourself in the character's shoes and what they went through. So, and with Tomoe, it seemed a little bit easier, I guess, because of listening to Georgette's performance so much and how she really brought life and fun out of Tomoe, and now that she wasn't going to be there anymore, it was kind of a shock to me. It was very like, wow, what do you mean she's dead? What? Like I couldn't believe it. So it's tough in that respect, but I think you can put yourself into the character's shoes. If you really do have this emotional connection to them and can make the performance real and believable if you can understand what they're going through. So, yeah.
That's definitely true. That's fantastic. But now moving on to... excuse me. Now moving across onto the brand new project you have coming up, Karina in One Piece Gold.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Which is coming out on January the 10th next year. How ecstatic were you to when you heard that you were going to get into One Piece?
Oh my God! I live in New Jersey and I work in New York, and I went to Texas. Is not close for me. It's like a 3-hour flight. Like I don't know how many miles it is. Like 2,000 miles or something from where I am. 2,000 or 3,000 miles. I'm not really sure. I'd have to do it on a map. But it's like a 3-hour flight from where I am. So I went to Texas in August with a friend of mine. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name on here, so I won't mention it. People know who he is. Anyway, I was helping my friend lived in Ohio, and he wanted to move to Texas because he's amazingly talented, wonderful voice actor. And I went to Texas with him in August to try and help him find an apartment. It's like, okay, we're going to look for apartments, like every day, apartment hunting. So we looked at like tons of places, and we got like an Airbnb. So we stayed at like an Airbnb, and we got like rental car. Well, he had his car. He drove his car I got a rental car, and he drove his car all the way from Ohio. He packed up all of his stuff in his car, and he's like, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yeah. So he packed up his car with all of his stuff and drove to Texas. I was like, oh, man, that's a lot. That's hard. Because Ohio's not really close to Texas either, if you look on the United States map. So as we were looking for apartments, we were sending our demos and emails over to Funimation. Really love to work with them. Because the last season that we did of Iki Tosin was actually owned by Funimation, but we did it through New Generation Pictures. So that was kind of a little weird situation. It was different. So, but we never worked at the Funimation studios. So this was really cool. I got to work on, I can't say it now because it hasn't come out yet. So first I worked with Joel McDonald, and we worked on a different show that I can't talk about right now. So that was really cool. And then I got to work on Honda-kun. I worked on Honda-kun with Mike McFarlane, and that was awesome. It was fun and amazing. Just some like walla parts and stuff. But then Joel asked me and my friend if we wanted to audition, for the new One Piece movie. And I was just like, what? Oh my god. So I auditioned for Joel, and I got the part of Karina, and I couldn't believe it. Because my friend, he's still there. Like, he's in like 10 shows, and he's the lead in one right now. It's amazing. He's doing an awesome job. But he was going to stay, but I was going to leave. So I had to record first. I was like, oh man, 'cause, I have to record first because I have to go back home. So I wasn't able to stay there for like another month or so. I was there for about a month. And so luckily I was able to record first and get it done, because I was like, oh shoot, are we going to have enough time to do this? Are we going to have enough time to record this? So it was amazing. I got to say, if Joel McDonald is just like the best director I've ever worked with. He's wonderful and amazing. And with the singing, I got to work with Mike McFarlane. I didn't even know Mike McFarlane was a musician. I was like, that's amazing. That's awesome. What? So I thought that was really cool. I didn't know. So Mike McFarlane worked on the music numbers for One Piece Gold. And I was like, dude, you're a musician. That is so cool. I used to play piano, but I'm very rusty. I don't really play anymore. So that was cool. So I got to work with Colleen Klinkenbeard a little bit, and she was awesome too. They were all awesome down there. They were really nice. So I would love to go back someday. I'm stuck here on the East Coast of the United States right now, but that was such an incredible experience with fantastic and amazingly talented directors, and it was like a dream come true for me. So I hope I did the character justice, and I hope you people like it, because I worked my butt off to really, do well with this character, because, she's part of the group that's like big in this movie. So yeah, I hope I did well.
That'd be, well, we have to wait until January 10th to find out, but I definitely think it's going to be fantastic. And speaking about, of course, as you just mentioned with Mike McFarlane, mentioning about with Mike McFarlane, I actually had no idea that he's a musician himself.
Yeah, he's a musician. I'm like, that's so cool.
Being a fellow musician myself, I was sort of expecting it, but sort of didn't expect it myself in some way. but that's cool though. And without getting into any spoilers, how would you kind of describe your character Karina in the context of One Piece Gold, without getting into any spoilers about the plot or the series in any way?
Oh man, yeah, because I can't give anything away. Well, she's cute and adorable. I don't know. Shoot, I don't know what I can say that won't give anything away. I'm sorry.
Cute and adorable will do just fine.
Sorry. She's cute and adorable.
Well, that's fantastic, and definitely looking forward to it. Now, as an actress, What would you say was the most challenging role for you to play personally?
Um, oh, I might say it's Karina because it it was such a surreal experience because I had never worked in the Funimation studios before. I had never worked with any of the directors there, and it I was nervous. I was very very nervous. I'll say that because this is a company that makes and produces so much anime, and being an anime fan, it it's like somebody who's a huge Disney fan and goes into the
Mm.
Disney studios and records the next Frozen movie or something like that. It's like that kind of feeling, if that makes any sense.
Oh, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Yes.
I, I, so I think this was the most challenging. I think because I had never worked there before, and I was nervous, and I wanted to do such a good job, and I worked really hard, and I got as much sleep as possible in order to be awake and prepared, for this role. I'm like, I have to get enough sleep. I cannot go out and party. Nope. Because I can't be like, oh yeah, I'm in this, let's go party. Yeah, nope, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to make sure I am 100% for this role. So I was really strict on myself. So because, yeah, I just wanted to do, like, I wanted to give 200%, not just 100%, just like 200% and like the absolute best that I could do.
Well, and I'm sure after you did the voice of Karina, in One Piece Gold, I'm pretty sure you said to yourself, "Okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to party."
Yeah, exactly. Once it's done, then you could breathe. But yeah, you want to be prepared. It's like, do not have dairy, get enough sleep, have tons of water, do not go out and drink and party and stuff. Wait until afterwards. You gotta wait until afterwards.
That's definitely true. And was there ever what's one character or role that you ever wanted to play or ever wished that you played?
We were talking about Ghost in the Shell before. I love Motoko Kusanagi's character in Ghost in the Shell, and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. Oh my God, her voice is like butter. I love it. I love her voice. I love that character. I love the Ghost in the Shell series. I love the movies and the standalone complex. It was just a really cool series to me. That's one of my favorites, and I love Cowboy Bebop is also one of my favorites. And I love Faye Valentine in Cowboy Bebop. She's really cool. I mean, the cute girl characters are fun. But I don't know. I guess personally for me, I really like strong, independent female characters, and like Faye Valentine and Motoko Kusanagi are definitely that. Which they do which they can have a softer side, but it's not all like it's not all like lolly, little girl, which is fun. Like I like them too. They're fun to play, but like for me personally, I love the strong, independent female characters in anime.
Well, fingers crossed that you hopefully get those types of roles in the next Ghost in the Shell films, animated film series, or in a Cowboy Bebop movie at some point.
Oh, I'd love to play just Walla in any of those. Would be awesome.
That would be fantastic. Now, as an actress, across your whole career with a lot of the roles you played, what would you say is the one role that resonates with you the most and you feel like you could relate to as a person?
I love Ogiwe Chika in Genshiken. If you haven't seen Genshiken or anybody hasn't seen Genshiken, it's an anime about anime fans, which is great. I love this series. I love this show. She is a closeted yaoi fan. They're like college students. They're college students, but they're anime fans. They play video games. They watch anime. They collect manga and figures and stuff like that. What I love about her character is she's an otaku, but she doesn't want to be hated by anybody because, like, even in Japan, otaku is looked down upon. Like how in America, I'm not sure how they, categorize that in Australia, but here in America, like, we call them nerds and geeks. Like, oh, you're a nerd, you're a geek. And it's almost like a derogatory term where it's looked down upon. Because otaku in Japanese actually means fan. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a fan of anime, but it means you're a fan of something. You could be a fan of trains. You could be a fan of, I don't know, skiing or something like, or like chairs, something like that. Otaku just means like you're a super fan of something and you're obsessed with this. So Ogiwe Chika, she doesn't want to be an outcast. She doesn't want to be considered an otaku. She almost throws herself out a window because she's like, no. But it's more of a comic thing. It's not really serious, her throwing herself out the window.
But yeah, that's fantastic though.
Yeah. So, like, she doesn't want to be hated by anybody. She wants to be accepted, and she wants to be in, the popular crowds and stuff like that. But she learns to accept who she is and finding herself as a person. And I really love playing her. She's probably the most favorite character that I've played, only because of like how complex and how many different kinds of layers she has to her character. She was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And just going back onto that point, as you were talking about with, like in the US, how you have the category of like nerds or geeks and such. I think we do have that. I think in Australia, though. I've been to like enough comic conventions there and such, and like, but I definitely agree on that sense. I mean, I see myself as. What was that?
Okay, like, what do you guys have there? Like, do you have like
absolutely
sci-fi things? Like, what do you guys have in Australia?
Yeah, we've got comic conventions down in Australia. Maybe not as big as like the ones in the US, like San Diego Comic Con, but the biggest one we've got in Australia is Supernova. That's probably the closest, I think, to something as big as San Diego Comic Con.
Okay.
But on a slightly smaller scale though. But we have like big guest stars show up. We have voice actors show up. There's people dressed up in costumes. They have karaoke parties. They have like all the merchandise stored around stores and such. So a very typical sort of comic convention down there as well.
Cool. Nice. Cool.
So
have you ever been to it?
I've been to it a number of times actually. My very first one was in 2014. That was my very first convention to Supernova, and I met Veronica Taylor and Eric Stewart. They were my very two first guest stars that I ever met there, and it was absolutely amazing. And I've not stopped going to those conventions ever since. And
awesome! Is it just like once a year?
Yes, yeah, it is. Like they have it like once a year as well, but they also have other conventions going on around Australia as well. Like we've got Supernova, which is the biggest one, and we've also got like Armageddon Expo. Oh no, sorry, Armageddon Expo, which I think was what they call New Zealand, and I think they've also got Oz Comic Con as well. So they've got like a number of different conventions popping up around Australia and such, which is pretty awesome as well. But Supernova is probably the biggest one that we have in Australia, which is amazing.
Cool, nice, that's awesome. What is that like in Sydney? Like, is it a big
all around Australia?
Like where...
All over Australia. Yeah, so it happens all over Australia. So
all over. Oh, okay.
So it can happen in Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, anywhere around Australia, which is really, really cool.
Cool, that's awesome. Nice. I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go sometime.
We'll definitely try to get you into a convention in Australia. Fingers crossed.
Awesome. I want to see the kangaroos. They look so cute, but I hear they're very vicious. So, but I just want to get pictures of them. I won't try to pet them.
That's all right. I've got a question about kangaroos, but that'll be at the end of this whole thing.
I can question about kangaroos.
And without getting into, without getting into any spoilers, any other current or upcoming projects?
Let's see. I announced a few things. There's Darkstorm Ascension. That's a video game. I voiced Saya in that. She's like the AI. She's kind of like similar to like a Cortana in is that Halo? Cortana in Halo, I think it is. So that looks really cool. One Piece, obviously. The One Piece Gold, Film Gold is going to be awesome. What else did I just announce? I'm trying to remember. It's like all this stuff on my website. I'm being dumb and drawing a blank. So if you'd like to go to michelleknotz.com, that's my website. And I just put a bunch of stuff up there, announcements that I just made of things coming out that I'm in. So, and yeah, there'll be more stuff coming in the future that unfortunately I can't talk about. I'm sorry.
That's
But
all right.
be sure to check out my website, and I usually announce it on Facebook and Twitter. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and yeah, check those out. And I usually list all the conventions that I'm going to be going to as well. So hopefully I'll be in a country or a town near you.
That'd be fantastic, and the links will be down below in the description. And on to the final question: what do you think?
Kangaroos.
Yes. What do you think that Jessie would say if she saw kangaroos?
Oh, is that the kangaroo question? Is there? I don't even think there is like a kangaroo Pokemon. I don't remember. There's like over 700 of them.
There was.
What would she say? I love kangaroos. I don't know. I don't know what she would say to kangaroos.
I think she would probably say something like that.
Like, I don't know.
But that's fantastic, though.
I was wondering where the kangaroo question was going to fly.
Well, I do know they have. I think it's Genghis Khan in Pokemon. That's probably the closest I think I've seen to a kangaroo version.
Right,
To a kangaroo
yeah.
Pokemon I think I've seen before.
Okay.
That's about as close as I think I've seen before, though. But that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Michele Knotz.
Do you play Pokemon Go? I forgot that. Do you play?
I did play a little bit of it before, yeah, but then I stopped after a while, as we kind of got a little bit bored with it. No offense to any
no.
Pokemon fans out there. I prefer
No offense to Niantic or anything.
But that's fantastic, though. Michele Knotz, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
That's no problem at all. And anything you'd like to say to the fans out there?
Check out One Piece Film Gold. It's going to air in theaters January 10th to the 17th. I'm probably going to be getting my tickets this week, so I can't wait to see it. I'm really excited. I want to get a group of friends to go and just be like, oh my god! So that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. If you want to friend me, follow me, and I'll follow you. And I think I'm the only Michele Knotz out there in the world. I'm not sure. I haven't found anyone in like Austria yet. So I know there's some Knotzes in Austria. I have relatives in Austria. So, but yeah, or check out my website, and hopefully I'll see you at a convention, or yeah, just have fun and go anime and subscribe to Funimation and Crunchyroll.
That's fantastic. And also one last question I've got for everybody out there listening as well. What kind of anime that Michele Knotz has worked on do you want to see turned into a live action series or a film with Michele Knotz making a guest appearance in?
That would be, it'd be cool if see, but I wouldn't be, I'd be like one of the teachers or something. Probably Genshiken would be really cool. I would love if Genshiken was made into a live action, but if I was like one of the teachers or something, because like I'm not of college age anymore, so I probably wouldn't be able to be one of the college students. Excuse me, but one of the teachers like in the school and stuff would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty awesome. Fingers crossed.
That would be awesome.
Well, thank you, Michelle. It's been an absolute honor.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
That's no problem.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato. And, well, guys, if you'd like to find out more about Michele Knotz, you can check out her links which will be down below in the description. And don't forget, One Piece Gold is coming out to cinemas January 10th next year. So, and don't forget to subscribe down below to HannaTalk, as well as my other channel, Simon Hanna Music, and follow me on both Facebook and Twitter as well. Thank you guys so much for listening, and don't forget, if you guys have any suggestions for interviews, reviews, or anything anime or movie related or pop culture related you guys want me to do, just leave them below in the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is Simon, signing off. See ya.